Hello, 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 hello. So this is my first time going live for all of my YouTube subscribers. I hope you all are having a lovely day. So let's work on getting this together for a second. Give me a minute. Let's see what we need to do. Get this looking right. So today we're going to talk about learning when to let go. Learning when to let go. Okay, there we go. There we go. We had a little technical difficulties in the beginning. But today we're going to talk about learning when to let go. That was one of the hardest lessons that I've had to learn. And I realized that I want to be able to share my journey with somebody out there because they need it. If I had somebody to help me on my journey, I think it would have been a lot easier. Nah, I like to learn the hard way. I would have still had to learn. But hopefully, somebody, a wise man or wise woman, learns from everybody else's mistakes. So hopefully, this will give somebody the opportunities that they need in order to overcome an obstacle in their life. So, learning when to let go. Love for me is not about attachment. Sounds weird, right? Love is not about attachment. That's what it's all about. You want to be with the one that you love all the time. But love is an attachment. Love is saying that I enjoy you. I enjoy the time that we spend together. I want the best for you. But you can live your life with or without me. And I'm just happy for the times that our paths have crossed. I learned that from a relationship that I had years ago. I was in love with this man who I had no business. I was in my early 20s. And I was in love with this man who I had absolutely no business being in love with. Although he loved me, he loved drugs and alcohol too. Mm, that part, right? Yeah, he loved drugs and alcohol too. And in most cases, he loved drugs and alcohol way more than he loved me. And I knew that I wanted to do certain things in my life, but I also knew that I loved him and that love for me was unconditional and that you accepted the good with the bad, right? Uh-uh. Wrong. Wrong. Yeah, you accept the good with the bad sometimes, but you gotta love yourself first. And sometimes you have to love somebody enough to let them go because you cannot go where you need to go without them. So in this relationship, it took my mom to call me one day and say, you know, I've been praying and I really think that you should not be with this person because he cannot go where you are going. And the crazy part is at the moment that she called me, I had already been battling with that inside of myself. I already been battling with that because I knew that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life trying to get him not to be addicted to drugs. I knew I didn't want to spend the rest of my life putting him in and out of rehab centers. I knew I didn't want to spend the rest of my life explaining to maybe children that I could have potentially had to by him why their father was addicted to drugs and alcohol and not there for them, why he couldn't parent them. I knew I wanted to be able to travel the world, and I knew that his drug addiction wouldn't allow him to be able to go where I was going. And so I had to make that hard decision to say, you know what? I love you. Yes, I love you. But I cannot go on my journey with you. I can't take you with me. You were only meant to be in my life for this season. And I can love and I can appreciate every minute that we spent together and still let you go. I had to learn when to let go. We got to learn to let go of toxic situations. But before you can learn to let them go, you have to be able to identify a toxic situation. Pay attention to how you feel when you're in a relationship or you're even in a friendship with someone. You know what I mean? Pay attention to, do you feel drained or do you feel energized? When you go around them, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel supported? Do you feel empowered? Or do you feel ugly and beaten down and just worn out and tired? Those are signs, and I think those are signs that we miss a lot of times. You can't miss those, because those will determine whether the relationship is a toxic relationship or not, and whether that's somebody that you can love, but you got to learn to let them go. And it's only for your benefit. And if it benefits you, then it's going to be to the benefit of everybody around you. Because when we're living our best lives, then we give those people around us permission to live their best lives as well. It's that simple, right? It's simple. So learn when to let go. And I'm saying this to you right now, and I'm saying it, and I'm smiling, and I'm happy about it. But it wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't, because when you think that you are madly in love with someone, you want to be with them forever. Like that's just, especially when I was in my early 20s, I just wanted to be in the love bubble forever. I thought this was going to be it. So it was hard for me to make that choice, but I had to make a hard decision then so that my walk would be easier in the future. So sometimes you got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice your temporary gratification for a life of promise, a life of purpose, a life of prosperity. Sacrifice those moments that he and I spent together, because ultimately it would have ended up not working anyway. And so I needed to make sure that I didn't invest any more time into a toxic relationship. Learn to choose you. You gotta put yourself first. There is truly power in knowing your self-worth. Truly power in that. Because when you know what you're worth, you're like, wait a minute, I am selling myself short. And when I sell myself short, I am teaching the person to whom I am selling myself short to that I am not worth more. I'm not worth more. And you can't do that. You cannot, absolutely cannot do that. So make the hard decision. If you got a girl in your life, or a man in your life, a partner, and it's a toxic relationship, you're feeling drained around them, you feeling like you're more sad than you are happy, you feeling like you're just completely, like something is really taking all of your energy, your happiness out of you, and you're in this relationship, don't try and force yourself to stay where your heart no longer wants to be, out of this idea of I love you, I want to be with you. No, sometimes love is letting somebody go, because you got to love yourself more. Now, this is not me saying that when things get hard, get up and leave. No, you don't leave when things get hard, but you have got to make the decision when it's toxic, or is this just a hard situation? Is this just a bad season, or is this a toxic relationship? Because relationships do have seasons. There will be seasons where you may not be getting along, or where things may be a little bit more difficult, but you all can overcome them. That a hard season is a lot different than a toxic relationship. And pay attention to that. And if you cannot figure it out, start journaling. Write it down. Write down your experiences. Meditate. Pray. Really get in tune with yourself. It's important to be in tune with yourself so you know what's going on around you. When you're in tune with you, you know, okay, I don't feel like myself when I'm around this person. Oh, okay. Well, I do feel empowered when I'm around this person. And that's only because you are in tune with yourself, so you can tell the difference. And another thing, make sure that when you learn to let go, that you just let go. You let go. Just let go. Don't try to hold on. And I'm not saying that you got to cut people off. Some people you do need to cut off cold turkey. That's one thing. But some people you can tell them, hey, this is not working out for me. I need some time. I need some space. And you can slowly start to break away from that person. And you all can still talk, and you can be friends. And you can say, this isn't a romantic relationship, but I would love to be your friend. And that's okay. Those are beautiful because love, again, is not about attachment, not about possession. You don't have to possess somebody else. Loving someone doesn't mean that you possess that person. Because you love a flower doesn't mean that you go and pluck it. It just means that you can admire its beauty from afar and say, wow, God, you created this beautiful flower for me to love. But it's there for somebody else to come by and admire and love as well. It does not belong to me. It is a part of this planet that we all share. That's the same thing when we cross people on our paths. They may be there for a season, or they may be there for a lifetime. And if they're sharing a portion of their journey with you, that just means that they're sharing a portion of their journey with you. That does not mean that you possess them or they possess you. You all are just walking hand in hand for a little while. That's it. Love isn't about possession or attachment, not being able to let go of people. So learn to let go and know that love is not about possession. That can be very dangerous when you're seeking to possess someone other than yourself. So I just wanted to share my tiny 10-minute tidbit of information with you all, a lesson that I've learned on my journey. Hopefully my lessons could help somebody else and make it a lot easier, and hopefully I empowered even just one person out there to learn to let go when it's time and to identify toxic relationships. Love you guys. Peace. It's your girl, Jenny Calhoun.